audio strolling.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Gettin Cheezy with Van Jeezy. I'm Van.
And I am Jeezy.
And let's not forget, special guest this week, RamJam, back again.
What's up, guys? Appreciate you having me on the show again.
So good to have you. I've been waiting all week for this, but not to overstep the fact that I missed Van dearly while he was gone. But RamJam, every visit, truly a gift in and of itself.
Well, thank you.
Van, how was the beach?
It was beachy and sandy, and it was nice. No, it was actually nice. It rained all day on Friday, but other than that, it was really nice the whole week. Got to sit my ass in the sand, drink some beer on my birthday even. That was pretty sweet.
Dang, you're adulting.
Miss Van made me some funfetti cake with funfetti frosting, which is my favorite.
Dang, what a colorful birthday present.
It was the fucking best. But let's get this shit going.
All right, well, continuing part 4 of 4, the long-awaited conclusion, and the reason that brings RamJam to the show, we are doing the NFC West and the AFC West. We're going to start with the NFC West today. The Rams, the defending Super Bowl losers, the Seahawks.
That was really funny. That tickled me deeply.
The Seahawks, the Arizona Cardinals, and the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, fart noise right off the bat on the 49ers.
Right on cue.
Speaking of fart noises, the easiest of the NFC West schedules goes to the San Francisco.
What is that?
That was 49ers and fart. Yeah, I'm 12 years old. Get used to it.
Your mind is telling you 12, but your body's about 45.
My beard is like 74. It's got so much white in it. Oh my God.
What do you got to say to all those haters out there, some of whom would even fart out the name of the 49ers?
I'm not going to beat around the bush here. I think we all know which week of the 49ers season intrigues me the most. That would be the Sunday before Thanksgiving. We'll go ahead and mark our calendars now. Week 12 in San Francisco against the Packers.
Oh.
Let the trash talking begin.
Oh,
we starting early.
We're starting real early. It's interesting reading the CBS Sports article that is week 1 of their 6-week gauntlet to end the season. I have a hard time wrapping my mind around our schedule being ranked 24th in the league with that 6-week stretch.
Let me jump in here with some irrelevant information. Did you know that it is 101 days until Thanksgiving?
Now I do.
We have just under 100 days till the San Francisco team will fight against the yellow and green G guys just before the best holiday of the year.
That sounds like a shitty gang. Hey, yo, we repping the yellow and green G guys. This Van, Jeezy, RamJam, don't fucks with us.
Okay, all right.
Let me give it a quick rundown here, though, like we
hit that
normally do.
rundown.
Schedule difficulty ranking 96.625, as RamJam mentioned, overall ranking in the NFL of 24th. This article calls out their easy stretch being the first 2 weeks of the season where they play the Buccaneers and the Bengals, which...
I mean, it's important to get started on a winning note.
But wait for this. The article says, however, we might want to crumple that paper up into a ball and set it on fire because this stretch might not end up being too easy for the 49ers for one reason. Both of these games are being played on the road.
So that means they're both going out to the Eastern time zone? Is Cincinnati Eastern?
Yeah, it's Western Eastern, but yeah.
Western Eastern?
Yeah, it's Western Eastern.
What the fuck what's that, North Carolinian? Does that mean something in regular English?
It means it's the west side of the east side.
What are you saying? English, motherfucker! Do you speak it?
I mean, I stutter it a lot, but mostly.
Okay, all right.
Anyways,
a hard time.
This leads into the weird scheduling note for the 49ers, where they have 4 games on the Eastern time zone. Since 2015, San Francisco has gone 0-12 when playing on the East Coast. What do you have to say for yourself, RamJam?
That's why I don't understand how our schedule is ranked 24th based on that.
Yep, RamJam mentioned earlier the rough stretch starts week 12, right before Thanksgiving, playing the yellow and green G guys. 13 at Ravens, 14 at Saints, 15 home against the Falcons, 16 home against the defending Super Bowl loser Rams, and 17 away at the Seahawks.
Are the Falcons any good?
They're a juggernaut to me, like the Patriots are. Like, no, fuck if I know, man.
I don't fucking have any idea.
This also says that 4 of those teams in that 6-week stretch are playoff teams, including both teams that played in the NFC title game, and 2 teams that did not make the playoffs are quarterbacked by NFL MVPs, that being Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan. And the 49ers have to travel 10,038 miles over the entire month of December, which is more than 5 NFL teams will travel their entire season.
This schedule looks rough. RamJam, what do you got over there?
There's a stretch prior to Week 12, 5 games before that, at Redskins, at home against the Panthers, at the Cardinals, home against the Seahawks, and then home against the Cardinals.
No, there's a couple tough ones in there with Carolina and the Seahawks, but those are both home games.
Yes, more home games, and that's really the only thing that would make that a little bit easier before they rack up the frequent flyer miles the next month.
This schedule, as you look through the whole thing, I'm just gonna recite the whole thing. Bucks, Bengals, Steelers, Browns, Rams, then against the Redskins. Panthers should be good. Cardinals, Seahawks, Cardinals, Pack, Ravens, Saints, Falcons, Rams, Seahawks.
I think there's a potential here for 2-14 or 8-8.
So that was kind of our downfall a little bit last year. We lost a lot of close games. So you could be right. You know, if we learn from some of the mistakes that were made last year, you know, maybe we win some of those close games. But like I said the last time I was on the show, I think our season's going to ride on 2 things. Garoppolo progressing instead of either regressing or getting hurt again, and the ability to defense to actually generate some turnovers. And like I said, you know, we made some additions, picked up D4, draft Joey Bosa. I'm kind of excited for tonight. We'll get a Monday night game on ESPN. I know preseason isn't really worth anything, but just to be able to watch again, I'm excited for it.
I gotta interject real quick here, but we did get a text on the cheese line.
The cheese line? Got that cheese line bling.
It was Durty Dan texted in. He asked 2 questions. The first one I will hold off on. The second one, as a statement, he says, Van is insane. Tom Brady is the best quarterback to ever play the game. I know he said it to get me riled up. I just wanted to address the fact that he's a system quarterback, and 3-yard checkdowns letting your receiver do the rest of the work does not constitute greatest of all time. Let's carry on from there.
But hold on. RamJam, this first question is actually also addressed to you.
All right.
Curious if the 3 of you have been watching the preseason, and if you have any standouts you're looking forward to. RamJam, you're the guest. Go ahead.
Tonight will be the first preseason game that I will be sitting down and watching. So I don't. I've been a terrible football fan. That's it. That's all. I got nothing.
Don't let Van bully you. I only saw one preseason game so far, and it was one that I went to live.
I also only saw one, and it was the very first one.
I do have one standout, and I'll touch on this. Geronimo Allison is back and looking super good and sharp. He looked super good and sharp against the Ravens for the Pack. And I also saw Lamar Jackson in Baltimore play. That dude is even more impressive in real life than he is on TV. That dude is just a Showtime player. Those are the 2 standouts that I've seen. I saw them live in Baltimore, which is a super nice stadium, by the way.
Is it?
It's so nice. I would go back there.
Did they sweep up all the bullet casings from the floor?
When I was there, the dude in front of me was so fucked up that he puked over like 3 rows of seats. It was horrible. I thought he had tripped and spilled his drink because I just saw the liquid flying, but it was just pure vomit flying. He got up and I never saw from him again. That was the first time I'd ever successfully used the help text line. Like, I was like looking around for it. I was like, where's the help text line? Where is the help text line? To the Ravens' credit, they were there very quick. Got it all, somebody addressed it, got it cleaned up shortly after.
Great job, Ravens. My standouts, I'll just briefly mention them, and we'll go over it during the Packers section. Alan Lazard and Darius Shepard, also Jake Kumaro. 3 Packers wide receivers that looked excellent.
RamJam, one more shot. Do you have any standouts you want to mention at this point?
I read about the first Niners preseason game, which Sorry, Dirty Dan. Obviously, it doesn't mean anything, but the Niners beat the Cowboys. One of our new receivers was kind of a standout. Actually caught 2 touchdown passes in that game. Jalen Hurd, 3rd-round pick. Hopefully we'll see some more of him tonight. Pretty excited. We haven't really had a big play receiver in a little while now, so we'll see.
Do we have anything else we want to say about the actual 49ers and their schedule? Because when I look at it, I have to agree that it looks like a tough schedule all over.
It looks tough for it, especially for a team that has a lot of questions around it. I also saw something that I believe RamJam, you tagged me in on Facebook, and Jeezy, you texted me later. I saw a comparison between Jimmy G and Brett Favre, and that ground my gears.
Ground your gears? Is that a proper...
Well, the past tense of grind is ground.
I believe it's grinded.
No, it's not. Grinded is a mistaken conjunction of the verb grind, when grind means to crush something into particles. Ground is the only standard conjugation of this verb. However, to your credit, Jeezy, writingexplained.org does say that grind is an irregular verb, which means it does not follow the regular rules used by most verbs in English.
Here, you're ignorant, so this was hard. Here's points for you. That's all you gave me there.
Fine. I want to make one more mention here of Durty Dan's text message. He came up with a new hashtag that I believe needs to start trending on Twitter. He said, hashtag cheese please.
I think
CHEEZE PLEAZE. Cheese please. You're Twitter, man. Get it going.
Okay, all right, I'll get it going. RamJam never even got a chance to finish the thing. You interrupted him, and then he never answered.
Jimmy G being the next Brett Favre?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
I was laughing so hard. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall to see your face when you first saw it.
You should see Van's face right now. He looks filled with constipation. Like he just wants to push that shit out.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Van taking the higher road for the first time ever.
Wow.
This coming from the guy that calls the 49ers the...
You mean the...
What the...
You forgot a syllable there. This is the most churlish episode we've done so far.
Anyway.
What was their rationale for the Brett Favre comparison?
He just said he was a gunslinger. He said Jimmy G is a gunslinger. Kind of reminds him a little bit of Brett Favre.
I don't buy it.
You don't think Jimmy G can slang guns?
No.
Damn, that was definitive. Anyway, moving on to the defending Super Bowl losers, the Los Angeles Rams. They come in with scheduled difficulty ranking 97.625, overall scheduled difficulty ranking 20th.
Easy stretch, ends the year. Sorry, RamJam. Week 16, going to San Francisco, and then they go home to play the Cardinals Week 17.
Can the LA Rams expect some surprises from the 49ers, RamJam, or is that an easy game for them?
Going to San Francisco, that might help, maybe.
Fun fact, the Rams were 4-0 against those two teams last year, and Sean McVay himself is 7-1 against those two teams, with his only loss coming to the 49ers in the 2017 season finale when the Rams rested all of their starters. So congratulations, 49ers. You beat the Rams JV squad.
You got to start somewhere.
2 years ago.
Oh, damn. You don't have to say it like that.
The Rams' rough stretch, coming out of their Week 9 bye, they play at the Steelers, home against the Bears, home against the Ravens, at the Cardinals, which isn't a hard game, home against the Seahawks.
That's really it. They get a little breath of air against the Cardinals before loading up again against the Seahawks.
I think that Rams-Bears game could be really good.
You think so?
I mean, the Rams' offense against the Bears' defense could be a really good game.
I really think the Bears should beat up the Rams.
I don't know about beat up.
I mean, that's the way the Bears play. They beat people up. They don't go out and, like...
The Philadelphia Eagles would tend to disagree.
Fine.
Ask Cody Parkey all about it.
God bless it. All right, I'll tweet him later.
Scheduling note that is strange for the Rams. They are traveling more miles than any other team in the NFC this year, and the second most in the NFL. They're traveling 29,974 miles, only behind the Raiders, who are traveling 32,023 miles. A lot of those Rams miles are due to the fact that they're playing in London this year.
Isn't that lovely?
Pip, pip, cheerio. Tea and crumpets.
All right, number 2, goes to the Arizona Cardinals. They have a schedule difficulty rating of 98.75 with an overall schedule difficulty rating of 17th.
The first quote kind of nails it. When you're coming off a season where you had the worst record in the NFL, there aren't really any easy stretches on your schedule. But there is one stretch here, starting in Week 5, at Bengals, Falcons at home, at Giants.
They have to have a time when they can be competitive, and I think those teams allow them to be competitive.
Sure.
But again, I have no idea how good the Falcons are going to be.
The rough stretch here for the Cardinals. Another good quote here. There's a good chance Cliff Kingsbury's first season with the Cardinals is going to end with a thud. And that's because the rough stretch for the Cardinals comes at the end of the year. Week 12 bye, they go and play the defending Super Bowl loser Rams. Home against the Steelers, home against the Browns, at Seahawks, away against the defending Super Bowl losers, Week 17. That's tough. You play the Rams twice in 5 weeks. That's tough.
RamJam, let me ask you this. Do you think the Cardinals should place any significant amount of hope on the shoulders of Kyler Murray?
I don't think you can the first season. I'm trying to think back to rookie quarterbacks that, unless this guy is Patrick Mahomes, I'm not seeing it.
You have players like Cam Newton had a good rookie season, if I remember correctly.
That dude is a freak of nature, though.
Scam Newton.
Just physically gifted, though.
But then you look at a guy like Deshaun Kaiser, who went like 0-15 and threw 11 touchdowns, 22 interceptions. In my opinion, it's never good to throw a rookie into the fire like that starting game one. But I guess we'll see.
If I remember right, I think Cam Newton had a pretty good, or at least decent supporting cast around him, and the Cardinals don't really have that. Looking at Deshaun Kaiser, I personally thought, and I was a fan of him in college, as you guys know, a fan of Notre Dame. So seeing him in college, I thought he should have played one more year with Notre Dame prior to entering into the draft. That was kind of confirmed with his struggles.
To the point of a supporting cast, at that time he didn't have anybody in Cleveland. And I'll say Kyler Murray's saving grace is he's got Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald is one of those Calvin Johnson types where if you get the ball within like a 6-foot radius of Larry, he's probably coming down with that ball.
The only thing I'll say about Larry Fitzgerald, he doesn't have the same speed that he once had. He's gotten older. His hands are still incredible. He still can use his size to make room. But I think when they make that transition, Anquan Bolden did this for the 49ers not that long ago. He had to use his size and hands instead of his speed that he had been known for all those years. So we'll see what Kyler Murray can do. But I think that's still a tough thing to have to do.
Weird note for the Cardinals. They don't play a home game in November. They're one of 2 teams in the NFL that go an entire calendar month without playing a home game, with the other being the Jags.
Sorry about it. Number 1 most difficult NFC West schedule. The Seattle Seahawks come in with a schedule difficulty ranking of 106.125, which gives them a schedule difficulty ranking of 7th.
It says the easy stretch ends their season. They get to play Cardinals Week 16 and, RamJam, 49ers Week 17 to close the year.
RamJam, what does it do to your heart to see the 49ers on the list of easy games over and over?
I can tell you, I would compare the Seahawks to what the Bears are to the Packers. So normally, when anytime the Seahawks are mentioned, I usually pull a van and throw a few fart noises in there. To see them have a 7th hardest schedule, not sorry about it.
I have to say, I really don't have anything against the 49ers. I don't know why I make the fart noises for them. I don't hate the 49ers for any other reason besides that non-call fumble in 99 wildcard playoffs.
Are you shitting me? This shit is 20 years old.
Pain doesn't go away.
20 years, man.
9-year-old Van weeping.
20 years ago.
10-year-old RamJam rejoicing.
People don't forget.
All right, the roughest stretch. So it says the Seahawks have one of the best home field advantages in football, but that won't mean much come November, and that's because they're going to be away. So they're going to be at the 49ers. They get a bye. At Eagles, Vikings at home, at Rams, at Panthers.
That's tough, and I'm confused here why the 49ers get thrown in the easy side and the tough side of this.
It's because they're not at home. The 49ers are weirdly good at home.
Is this true, RamJam?
That is true. That's why when we were talking about our schedule, that easy stretch I kind of found, not necessarily all easy teams, but they do well at home, and they beat the Seahawks at home last year despite, how terrible their season was going. They were able to sneak that one out in overtime, which I was very happy about, obviously. So, yeah, I would say there's some truth to that.
It also says that every single one of those games, except the Carolina game, are being played in prime time. And
Damn.
The Seahawks are just 12, 11, and 1 on the road over the past 3 seasons.
I mean, that's still a winning record on the road.
Sure.
But it's a lot of losses for a team that I think is significantly better than that overall.
Sure.
So that wraps up the NFC West. RamJam, you sticking around for the AFC West, or you had enough?
I'm going to get home to Mrs. RamJam and RamJam Jr. Once again, really appreciate you guys having me on the show. Enjoyed doing it. Enjoyed listening, obviously. Hope you're on again soon. Let the trash talking continue for the next 12 weeks.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely have to have you back come Thanksgiving time. There will be blood boiling, and we'll be preparing our hearts for both cholesterol and the ravages of war.
I'll be over here shredding up a Jerry Rice jersey.
We really appreciate it, as always.
Thanks, RamJam.
Stay cheesy.
Stay cheesy.
RamJam, thank you, ma'am.
All right, now we move on to the AFC West. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Oakland Raiders, and the Denver Broncos.
The AFC West actually reminds me of the NFC North in terms of that the schedules are a little bit on the harder side, upwards of middle of the pack, with the easiest schedule being the Los Angeles Chargers coming in at 100.75 in a tie for 13th overall.
So this says that if the Chargers can beat the Colts at home in week 1, they got a good shot of staying undefeated into October. So it looks like they're going to play Detroit week 2, Texans week 3, Dolphins week 4, Broncos week 5. With Phillip Rivers, again, I know he doesn't have a ring yet, but he's a quarterback that is good enough to lead a team anywhere. I think he could walk around with 5-0 at the beginning of the season.
I agree. Phillip Rivers is like pretty much a consistent A- quarterback.
He has been. I mean, he really has been. He's a big dude also.
Also got a lot of kids. He's got like 7 kids, man. Their rough stretch, it says here, starting in week 8, they have to travel around the continent to play 4 games, starting on the road in Chicago. They go back to LA to play us, week 9. It says hopefully they don't get too beat up against Green Bay because 4 days later they have to play the Raiders in a Thursday game, week 10. And then if they survive those 3 games, the reward is a trip to Mexico City for week 11 to play the Chiefs. Weird scheduling note for the Chargers here. They play more primetime home games this year, 2, than they did during their first 2 years in LA combined. 1.
Wow.
Not that weird. Kind of boring.
Kansas City Chiefs come in with the 3rd most difficult schedule in the AFC West, with a 101.75 coming in at 12th, just above the Chargers. This says their easy stretch will be opening the season with 3 of their 4 first games on the roads. They'll be at Jaguars, at Raiders, Ravens, and at Lions.
If they finish that stretch anything worse than 3-1, they've got problems.
Jags, yeah, they should beat the Jags. They should beat the Raiders. Are the Raiders going to be bad?
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll get to that in a little bit.
The Ravens are, I think, going to be solid. And there's a lot of anticipation coming out of that locker room. I've seen so many rumblings about this is going to be an offense like no other offense you've ever seen.
I heard the same shit about RG3 because he got the same kind of style as Lamar Jackson did, and that didn't turn out so well. The Chiefs should also pretty much beat up on the Lions.
Yeah, they should. But I'm just saying, like, the Ravens, they're like my secret AFC team that I like. Probably followed secondly by the Chargers. Anyway, roughest stretch. If the Chiefs haven't clinched a playoff spot by week 14, things get a little bit scary. Because in week 14, they face the New England Patriots. Then, the Broncos. Then, the Chicago Bears with their climax against the Chargers.
I mean, that is pretty fucking tough.
That is tough. They need to win a bunch of games early. That's a tough run.
That's not easy.
I mean, the only game in there that sounds like it could be sort of easy is against the Broncos. But the thing about the Broncos is they're like a division buster. They can, like, kick the ass of the other divisional teams for some reason, but not always win against teams outside of their division.
Their weird scheduling note sucks, so I'm going to skip it. And then we're going to go to number 2, the Oakland Raiders. Schedule difficulty rating of 107.375 with an overall NFL schedule ranking of 5th.
So John Breach likes to use this line. I'm just going to read it again. When you're coming off a 4-12 season and you have the 5th most difficult schedule in the NFL, there's no such thing as an easy stretch.
It says that they're winnable games.
There is no easy game for the Oakland Raiders right now. Every single game is either more evidence that John Gruden should be fired and is a complete idiot, or a job saver. So I think every single game is tough. There is no take a break for the Raiders, I think.
So week 11, home against the Bengals, 12 away against the Jets, with 2 things historically playing against them. They haven't beaten the Bengals this decade. They're 0-3. And they're 1-6 on the Eastern time zone over the past 2 seasons. So moving on to the rough stretch, it says that they may very well be eliminated from playoff contention by week 8. They have one of the worst traveling schedules in NFL history this year. They go 49 days without being at home.
How long?
49 days.
That's 7 full-on weeks.
Yeah. Yep. They go to the Vikings week 3, to the Colts, Bears week 5, where they're the home team, but, bye week, to Green Bay, to the Texans. Oh, but actually, you know what? That rough stretch even starts in week 2 when they play home against the Chiefs.
Good luck, Oakland. You're going to need all of it. Absolutely all of it.
We'll move on to the toughest schedule in the AFC West. The Denver Broncos, 109.375 with an overall ranking of 3rd. The easy stretch, play Lions at home and Raiders at home.
I mean, those are winnable games. So it's exactly like they said. They have a tough schedule, but if they can stick it out till then, if they're in contention for a wild card or clinching the division, those are some teams that they possibly beat up.
So the Broncos have the hardest schedule in the AFC this year overall. They play Bears week 2, at Packers week 3, and that's not even the hardest stretch. Starting in week 7 through week 15 is their hardest stretch.
7 to 15?
Yeah, half their season is hard. They play home against the Chiefs, at the Colts, home against the Browns, bye week, at the Vikings, at the Bills, home against the Chargers, at the Texans, at the Chiefs. It says Joe Flacco might want to start watching film of himself from the 2012 playoffs because that guy is going to need to show up if the Broncos want to finish above 500 this year. Is Joe Flacco even the clear starter out there?
From what I've heard, he is the starter, but it's not a definitive, rest on your laurels type thing. And that brings us to a close for a segment that has gone on for fucking ever. We have now ranked every team in the NFL according to schedule difficulty.
Well, we didn't.
We have recited and interestingly arranged all the teams and their schedule rankings.
We have regurgitated someone else's hard work.
We did more than regurgitate.
Thanks, John Breach. I don't want to, but we do need to take it down a notch here and pay our respects to Cedric Benson, who passed away a couple of days ago in a motorcycle accident in Texas. Cedric Benson was a longtime Bear, came to the Packers for a year, and then went somewhere else. I don't remember.
Cedric Benson and all those who have survived him, sorry for it. The thing that we could say for sure is that he was still a very young man.
He was a very young man. He was, I believe, 32 years old, I believe.
Way too young.
TMZ here says there's a video. I can't find the video itself. It says, moments after Cedric Benson crashed his motorcycle into a minivan, several bystanders slammed on their brakes and raced to try and save his life.
It's absolutely horrifying.
But everything I hear about Cedric Benson was that he was a great guy, hard worker. Aaron Rodgers said that he learned a lot from Cedric Benson, said he used to have some good talks with him that were really thought-provoking. Cedric Benson, you went too early. 36 years old is so young.
Way too young. It's unfortunate to lose a young person like that, and in such a violent way.
With that, I'd like to move on to a comical story to bring the mood up a little bit.
What clown are you talking about now?
Some fucking asshat who thinks he's worth more than $30 million.
Is it me?
Could be. But this one I'm talking about is actually Dak Prescott, who reportedly turned down a $30 million a year contract from the Cowboys.
Well, how much did Carson Wentz get? I can't remember.
Less than that, I think.
Oh no, Carson Wentz got 25.7 million. You are right.
I had heard that Dak was wanting 40 million a year.
I heard that too. I don't know if he's going to get 40 million.
This dude isn't going to get 30. Come on, man. 30 million for Dak Prescott. That dude can't do shit. If Zeke's not playing, which he might not be because he's holding out, that dude can't do a damn thing.
Speaking of Zeke, I read an article on Twitter earlier today saying that Jerry Jones is making jokes at Zeke's expense because he saw the new running back that they have for the preseason and him in training and being like, Zeke who?
It's Jerry World, man. We're all just living in it.
I mean, I don't know what they're going to do out there in Dallas, but if Dak Prescott and Zeke are on the chopping block, what the fuck is going to happen in Dallas?
I don't know, man. And the thing is about Dak wanting 40 million, he's never thrown more than 4,000 yards in a season.
What does a leading quarterback throw these days?
Like 4,500, almost 5,000.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think he may get 30 million from someone. There's a team out there that will pay him that.
He was offered 30 million from the Cowboys, and he said no.
I mean, there's a team that will pay him, I think, slightly more than 30.
Who?
I'm not sure who it is, but there's got to be somebody. I mean, the fucking Broncos could pay him.
They just paid Joe Flacco.
Yeah, they're not going to pay him this season, but they could pay him next season.
Why?
Look, Dak Prescott is a perfectly serviceable quarterback. You get a lot of other superstars around him. He can win you a championship. But he's not going to go out there and carry a team to the championship and win. The only young quarterback like that in the league is Patrick Mahomes.
But wouldn't you think then, if you're seeking Patrick Mahomes' money, you better be playing like Patrick Mahomes? You just told me that Dak needs other people to make it happen, which means he doesn't need to be the highest paid player in the league.
I don't think he needs to be paid that much. I think he can get paid $30 million.
Why? What has he done?
He's been pretty good and stayed healthy. I think that's the going rate these days.
Sure. Whatever.
$40 million? Good luck, Dak. I hope you stay in the league.
I do want to move on from that topic and quickly mention that the Eagles fans are already in mid-season form here in the preseason.
How so?
I found a video here of these Eagles fans just fucking beating the hell out of this dude. It's a Barstool Sports article. In preseason, this dude's getting his ass fucking kicked. This dude wearing a Carson Wentz jersey starts punching him in the face. Another guy fucking suplexes him. They both start wailing on kid's head until a girl like pulls them off of him. Kid's dripping blood out of his face. Then some asshole in a fucking Carson Wentz jersey walks up as this dude is like still trying to like regain himself. Walks up, slaps him in the face, and takes his hat and walks away.
That's fucked up.
Classy, Eagles fans, classy.
I mean, he hit him with something that causes a leak, that's for sure.
This is the state of the Philadelphia Eagles fan base.
Tough break.
Cheese it on in.
'Cause I'm cheesing my way back to you, Van, with a burning cheese inside. It's a Packer section! Woo!
This one's mostly all you. You went to the game.
Here's my report from Baltimore. First, I got to say thank you to the city of Baltimore. That stadium is incredibly nice. Comfortable chairs, large HD screens on each end zone so you can see the games when they're not close to you or when there's a detail that they want to highlight.
Food and beverage prices?
Very reasonable food and beverage prices. Now, as for the actual football that I saw, we did not look sharp. With the exception, I said this throughout the first half, Geronimo Allison is going to be a beast this season. All he has to do is be healthy. That dude is big, fast, and his hands are coming in.
Last year, if he wouldn't have been hurt, our season looks completely different.
I agree. He's going to be a special talent. That's all I saw out there really at all. Who's the young running? Dexter Williams, maybe?
Yeah. Yep.
He's got a lot of work to do. That was the other thing that I noted. I said Dexter Williams can be good. I think he's just got to be more decisive. He's got some potential. I can see it, but I just feel like there's some hesitation out of him.
I saw some pretty great catches from Alan Lazard, Darius Shepard, and Jake Kumaro. All three of those receivers stood out. It's going to be really tough to cut down the receiving core this year. You've got those three guys. Devontae Adams not going anywhere. Geronimo Allison, Trevor Davis, MVS, Equanimeous St. Brown, Jamon Moore. That's 9 guys. You have to cut at least 2 of them.
It depends on if they get other offers, but those are guys that you can keep on the practice squad.
Yep.
On defense, it's really hard. I feel like when you're in the game live, it's really hard to pay attention to defense. But I can tell you that we fucking lost.
I can tell you what I think about the defense. Our tackling... Oh, my God. How many years has it been, Jeezy, where I have been so angry and tried to preach to you and the rest of the world about playing fundamental football? Stop jumping around, keep your feet under you, and make the fucking tackle. It's been years, Jeezy, and I got myself so excited here. Everybody says it could be a top 10 defense, could be so good, and I was still a little bit like, fucking tackling has been horseshit. And I wonder to myself sometimes, how do you make it this far in a football career and be lacking the fundamentals? You've been taught the fundamentals since day one.
I don't know.
Is it just the pressure of learning a new playbook, new system, different speed? I'm not sure what it is. That's takeaway number 1 for me. Number 2, I was actually pretty surprised that Rashawn Gary looked slow.
Really?
He got no pressure. He doesn't have a single tackle this preseason. I don't know what his deal was. The other thing I'll note is there is some horse shit going on in Lambeau Field with this third down horn they're doing.
What third down horn?
It's like a fucking foghorn meant to like get the fans going. First off, it sounds like a giant fart. Second off, it reminds me too much of the Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
It's bad, dude. It's BAD, bad, get rid of it. Apparently it was meant to be a thing of like, get the fans going, get them hyped up. Bleh. I like Aaron Rodgers' suggestion better. Lower the beer prices.
Classic. Good on him. He gets a small deposit in the Good on Him bank.
I also saw a suggestion that Matt LaFleur should have a decibel meter, like have it in his pocket, and as the stadium gets louder, the beer prices go down.
Ooh.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun, actually. We have the technology.
Of course we do. We had the technology like 20 years ago. I'm sorry. I have to roll back one more thing about the team itself. We have some serious problems at backup quarterback. A genuine concern.
I mean, I think Deshaun Kaiser showed that if you run the Tom Brady offense, he could be fine.
Checkdowns?
Yes.
Every time I've seen the guy play, I've said the same thing. He's trying too hard. He tries way too hard to make a play and fucks it up. Takes a sack, fumbles, throws a pick. He's trying way too hard. Honestly, out of the two of them, Deshaun Kaiser and Tim Boyle, I take Tim Boyle.
What? No fucking way.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't have any stats sitting in front of me, but, like, you got to keep Deshaun Kaiser. Tim Boyle doesn't go out and win you any games. That's who you put in to hand off the ball during garbage time.
The only reason why I say you almost have to keep Deshaun Kaiser is because he made a dumb fucking trade straight up for Demarius Randall to the Browns.
That
stupid.
was a dumb trade.
Fucking dumb. What did I say when it first happened? Fucking, like, what? This is fucking stupid. Stupid.
Yep.
And now here we are. Our dicks in our hands. Ain't got
Damn.
Ain't got shit. He got shit behind Aaron Rodgers. The last person behind Aaron Rodgers that was decent was Matt Flynn.
Oh yeah, Matt Flynn was decent. What happened to him?
I don't know. He retired or something.
He had a starting job somewhere for a little bit.
Seattle.
Was that where it was?
I think so.
He was a good backup.
That's what we need. We got dog shit behind Aaron Rodgers again this year, and it would not surprise me if the backup quarterback is not on the Packers roster right now. We go and pick somebody up after cuts.
Yeah, I could believe that. I could definitely believe that.
We're still sitting here looking like a bunch of dumbasses, gotten rid of Taysom Hill.
Oh, he's with the Saints, right?
Yeah, being a jack of all trades, like running the ball, catching the ball, throwing the ball, being good at all of it. Here we are, like, nah, don't need him. Cut him. Get rid of him. We'll take Tim Boyle instead.
Green Bay honestly doesn't seem to be like that good at the backup quarterback thing.
Because in the past 30 years, we haven't had to be. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. In between then, when Aaron Rodgers was hurt, we had like fucking Seneca Wallace, Scott Tolzien, which was actually a pretty badass story because kid from Milwaukee went to play and start for the Badgers, went to the Rose Bowl, went to start games for the Packers. Also, during one game, had a perfect Madden B button spin move on the goal line.
Oh, yeah.
That was super good.
Yeah, Scott Tolzien was fun to watch.
Then you've got Matt Flynn has started games. You've got Deshaun Kaiser started games. All those backups have been dog shit. Now, it's difficult and it's expensive to keep a good backup around, but fucking what are you going to do?
With Aaron Rodgers' health, you gotta have somebody back there.
When we made that trade straight up for Deshaun Kaiser, I had to believe to myself that someone in the Packers organization believed that Deshaun Kaiser was the heir to Aaron Rodgers. Otherwise, you wouldn't make that dumb fucking trade.
I think he just didn't get enough time in college. He wasn't there long enough, and he hasn't had enough time to develop in the NFL either.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know another quarterback we forgot about when Aaron Rodgers was hurt? Brett Hundley.
Oh.
Trash.
Yeah, I tried to block him out. Whoa, shit! It's time for the gossip section.
One person and one person only this entire gossip section. I was so excited for it. Antonio Brown.
AB all day.
Has fucking lost it. Lost his mind, dude. He's insane.
Insane in the brain!
He went radio silent for a minute. He froze his fucking feet off. The whole air balloon thing into practice. Then he's like, I want my helmet. And then they said, no, you can't have your helmet. And then he's like, fine, I'll fucking retire. And they're like, you can't do that. And this is after he tried to paint his helmet. Paint it and bring it to Raiders practice. And they were like, no, dude, you can't do that. It's clearly you painted that. You can't do that. Then he's like, hey, Twitter, help me find a new fucking helmet. And they did, and the NFL was like, no, you can't do that. And he's like, well, fine, I'm just going to sit on the sidelines and not do anything. And then the Raiders owner was like, pretty much, you're all in or you're all out. And then he showed up to practice.
What? All that just to be like, yeah, and then he showed up to practice.
That's exactly what happened, though, dude. Like, shows up to practice in a hot air balloon, which we talked about, right?
Yeah, we talked about that.
And players often use cryogenics, really, really cold things really fast to help ease their muscles and fix their bodies. He was in there too long, got frostbite on the bottom of his feet, right?
What the fuck?
Then he didn't answer his phone for a while, I guess. Weird, right? And then he's back again. Fine. So then they said, hey, Antonio Brown, you can't use your old helmet. Those are the rules. It's not safe enough based on the year and the model and whatever else. And he literally got caught sneaking his helmet back into the practice. It says in an article from SportsIllustrated.com, it says, it sounds like Brown isn't exactly Bob Ross. He, quote, repainted the helmet with colors approximating, but not completely mimicking, the Raiders' silver and black design.
Couldn't he afford to pay someone to do that?
Yeah, I just imagine him, like, going to fucking Joann Fabrics, getting some paint.
Picking up some pastels.
Some acrylics,
and
a couple of paintbrushes, and sitting there on his living room floor like...
But draws like a full-on pirate, not the Raiders logo.
There's rules. Your helmet has to be safety approved from a certain time frame. He took to Twitter and said, hey, people from Twitter, help me out here. Find me a helmet. Someone on Twitter was like, by the way, that brand you like, you can use it as long as it's after a 2010 model. So he was like, yo, people on Twitter, please find me one. If you do, I'll give you an autographed something. And they fucking found one, of course. He's like, 'cause otherwise, I'm not going to play. Like being a fucking child, right? He fucking found it, I guess.
What?
That model was discontinued in 2011. A helmet's not allowed to be older than 10 years to be certified in the NFL. Someone found that rule and found the fucking helmet. But then the NFL says, no, you can't do that.
Wait, why not?
The NFL said that he couldn't do that because the helmet itself had to pass a safety test. And he found a handful of these helmets, and they did not pass the safety test. So Antonio Brown comes out on Twitter on Saturday and says, super prejudice, unbelievable. Fine. This all sounds fucking ridiculous, and I promise you it is. And Mike Maycock, the GM of the Raiders, says all in or all out, and apparently he did show up to practice. While all this is happening, he's being sued by a chef for unpaid services dating back to 2018, claiming that Antonio Brown owes him $38,521.20.
That's a lot of food.
This is a Clutch Points article. Antonio Brown rented a mansion, hired this guy to cook for over 50 people, and it says Brown wrongfully terminated the agreement. All this is happening, right? And it's fucking insane. Can you agree with that? It's fucking insane.
The helmet thing is absolutely ridiculous. I don't see why you can't just find another helmet.
I found an article on brobible.com.
Brobible.com. That sounds suspicious. I don't know the intentions.
What's even better is the author. His name is Connor Toole. But okay, all those things out of context, it's fucking insane, right?
He'd be incredibly sensitive, unreasonably sensitive, and somewhat out of control.
Exactly. Reckless, even. I found an article that I read it and I was like, it almost makes sense. And this theory says that CTE may be to blame for Antonio Brown's behavior. So Antonio Brown one time got fucking smacked by Vontaze Burfict. In 2016, got fucking drilled. Had a serious concussion. He like fucking arms limp, one of those hits where you're like, is he going to be hurt forever? And you watch an interview he gave a couple days later, he still was like slurring his words, a little out of it. And this guy, actually the Twitter user, his name is Vountee, Vountee, this guy put this thing together, and he found a list of incidents, like his crazy shit he's been doing. And before 2017, nothing happened. Not a single thing happened. So that game was in, I believe, the wild card, when he just got smacked right there. That was in like the wild card, I think, 2016. And after that is when the wheels fucking fall off, dude. Early 2017, he's like Facebook streams a private conversation with Coach Tomlin. 2017 season, he threw a cooler because Big Ben didn't target him at all. 2018, showed up to training camp in a helicopter, showed up 4 hours late to a charity event, throwing furniture off a 14th story, almost killed a toddler, getting pulled over for doing over 100 miles an hour in a 55. We talked about that.
We did. He was on his way to Denny's, I believe.
He was. I mean, I can understand why. Shoved his baby mama to the ground, dyed his mustache fucking blonde, gave himself nickname Mr. Big Chest, like, I don't need the game, I'm going to retire. All this crazy shit, right? All that stuff starts happening right after this hit.
I just have to reiterate, the play is he jumps in the air to make a catch, like full body extension. And as he's getting ready to land, a guy puts his full body weight through Antonio's head to head, full body weight only, doesn't hit his body. So his body remains falling as his head gets literally hit so hard it looks like it might come off.
And so this guy says, let's look at the signs and symptoms of CTE. And so from Wikipedia, the first stage symptoms include ADHD, confusion, disorientation, dizziness, headaches. Second stage symptoms include memory loss, social instability, impulsive behavior, poor judgment. Do those things seem to personify Antonio Brown right now?
I mean, this is like some tinfoil hat shit right now.
Just, dude, I mean, I don't know, man. He has been slipping since then, I think. If you watch the interview he gave after that and listen to it, he's out of it. He's slurring his words. I mean, man, we may be seeing the effects of CTE in real time.
Here's one further insight. There's a girl that I work with, and she got a concussion from a dog bumping her in the face. Like a dog not running, a dog that got a little excited and bumped her in the face. Maybe a little jostle, but basically nothing too serious. And she said she was disoriented for days. She wasn't allowed to drink. Like, she was affected for several days by a small dog bumping her in the head. I mean, when I see what Antonio Brown suffered, it was ridiculous. Honestly, when you watch it in slow motion, it looked like it could have been a fatality. It is absolutely brutal.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying, think about it. He's been taking hits like this his entire life.
I mean, I don't know about like that, but he's been taking big hits.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not well versed on CTE.
You're not a doctor?
Other than what I've read on the internet.
Wikipedia.
And, they can't put anything on the internet that isn't true.
That is correct, yes. I heard that.
Are we seeing, like, this hit that fucking, like, that was nailed in the coffin? Like, it is CTE from here on out. He exhibits all the second stage symptoms.
I don't want to start diagnosing via podcast, but I can definitely say that he has been a little off, and more so in recent years.
It all started after that 2016 season, and it's gotten progressively worse a lot faster.
I mean, he's also been number one recently.
Do you think his fame got to his head?
I mean, I just want to put that out there just as a diverging opinion. I mean, if you look at his stats, he was number one in a lot of things recently. How many people made it to the top just to turn into divas and be out of control? In the words of 21 Savage, a lot.
You quoted 21 Savage last episode.
Was it also a lot?
Yes, it was.
How much money you got? A lot.
That was actually the exact quote. You know what, Jeezy? You know what? Instead of moving on to the interesting take section this week, because we've had a long episode, I'm going to say that my interesting take for this week is that I think we are witnessing Antonio Brown in the mid stages of CTE.
Do you think there are other players that we could see as living examples who are living with the symptoms of CTE, still playing the game?
I mean, who have we seen take some nasty shots? Cam Newton's taken a lot of nasty shots.
Yes, he has. I'm not looking exactly for a specific name here, but what I'm trying to say is, what do we do with the question of, does this person have CTE? Right now, we can ask the question, does this person have a concussion? And if the answer is yes, we have a specific action. What do we do with the question, does this person have CTE?
It shouldn't come down to it, but there's a lot of money being exchanged, and someone's life should never come down to a dollars and cents determination. But I think if we say, yes, this person has CTE, I think that there has to be some kind of stipulation that, you're done playing the game.
And then what about the insurance? What about the loss of livelihood? Like, we're talking a lot of money here for this person who can no longer participate. Now, again, it's for their health. You would think that they would want to stop, but what about all that money? And what about the necessary health care without all that money?
I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you. That's what's difficult is, like you say, we determine someone has a concussion. We can say, yes, you're sitting out. You can't play again until you pass concussion protocol. That's easy. Let's say that, yeah, we determined, yes, this person has CTE at some point in their career. Maybe we develop some tests that can be done on a weekly basis, monthly basis, who knows, to kind of spot check these players and see what's going on. But do you tell them that, no, you can't play ever again? Do you tell them, listen, it's up to you to play if you want? I don't know. I think it's a great question. It's a great question, Jeezy.
Look, I'm full of great questions, but don't look to me for any answers.
I don't have it either. Actually, I'd like to throw it back to you, fan base. What do you guys think? Do you guys think if we develop some kind of test to determine if a player has CTE while they're still playing mid-career, what do we do with that information?
That's a good question. I hope we get some feedback on that. That'll be some future topic that we can discuss more on the podcast.
Absolutely. Facebook us, text us, call us, email us, tweet at us, anything.
And with that, we're going to leave that question open and out there in the air. Look for some answers. But you've been listening to Gettin Cheezy with Van and Jeezy.
I'm Van.
And I'm Jeezy.
Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, YouTube, cheezypodcast.com, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play Music, iTunes, or call, text anytime, whenever you want. Whenever we'll always answer. We'll always be here for you. 980-2-CHEESY with a Z. That's 980-224-3399.
Thanks so much, everybody. Love it. Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.